the increasingly infamous piece that came out in The Atlantic this week, written by Emily Oster, asking for amnesty. Not even asking for forgiveness and not apologizing, but asking for amnesty for those who got it so wrong and during COVID. And it does seem to me that that is exactly what many on Team Blue in power, especially in the public health apparatus, that racket did a tremendous amount of damage to people, killed people, damaged people, broke up families, destroyed income streams, made the last moments of lives for people bereft of meaning and alone. And the idea that you would ask for amnesty without yet recognizing the errors and without yet fixing them and without even an apology is remarkable. And it will work for some, but it will work mostly for those who were kind of on the fence and were kind of maybe feeling a little bit bad, but didn't really do that much. And for the most part, those who have been clear-eyed and seen it, or who've been in the focus of some of the hatred and the actual misinformation and the actual disinformation, what that article saw coming back at it, what the author, Oster, did presumably, and what The Atlantic, the publication, did, and The Atlantic, a publication that I once loved, saw coming back at it was in no small part anger. And it is justified anger. And so, what this election in part is standing for legitimately, what you were saying is actually, this is really important, because while we don't expect either party to be interested in actually governing, as insane a sentiment as that is, it is possible that at this moment, if there is a turnover in power, that Team Red would actually choose to govern because they can see, because it would be clear that that was about a deep frustration, and that is underselling it tremendously, a deep frustration on the part of the populace who have been gaslit and damaged and lied to and told to just suck it up and forgive. And no. We're going to need a lot more before that is going to happen.
We're going to need a lot more. I do think the amnesty discussion, as much as it was a unbelievably audacious and asinine request, really, especially coming from where it did emerge from.
Yeah.
We have two tiers, right? There are people who made serious errors, interpersonal errors, and those people need to own up, and yes, we need to accept them back into our lives, and that will be a bit painful, but amnesty has a role here, and frankly, if you're higher up, we ought to think very carefully.
I think what we're talking about, I'm sorry, but when you're talking about individuals in your family, and many people really do feel, I think, legitimately I'm so hurt and I'm so betrayed and I missed the important moments and I was forbidden from attending, Christmas and birthdays and all of these things, and I will forgive and I will move on with my family. But that's not amnesty.
Right.
Amnesty is a bigger societal level thing. So that's not amnesty, that's forgiveness.
I agree.
And forgiveness, yes, when warranted.
And I want to point out, it was a minister in Canada. We may have even talked about this, I'm not sure. There's a piece of video that circulated a couple weeks ago in which a minister in Canada was confronted over the fact of the firing of a state employee for not complying with the vaccine mandates. And
you're not talking about a religious person. You're talking about the head of state of Alberta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't remember her name, but the newly elected head of state of Alberta, and I don't think she's called a prime minister, but maybe, but the newly elected head of state of Alberta, when asked on stage, and when do you think that we might begin to see apologies and reversals of mandates and stuff? She says, I will apologize right now.
Yeah, she said, right now.
And
then she goes on to say, and I will do what's in my power to get you rehired if you wish to rejoin us.
Yep.
And my feeling is that is exactly the behavior that we have to have. Somebody recognizing their own error, owning up to it, doing what they can.
Well, it wasn't her error, though. The error of her government, which she has just obtained a position of power in which she can do something about it. This was not her saying, I was wrong, because I don't think she had been wrong.
Well, if that's true, it changes it a little bit. But nonetheless, it is the behavior we should want. If she didn't do anything wrong and she's apologizing for others, it's a little different.
It's more in the realm of reparations.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's the situation.
Yeah, more in the realm of reparations is a good way to put it, right? Apologizing for a historic wrong.
But she was elected on this wave of anger and frustration, and with the hope that she might do something about it, and so she is.
And so she did. Yes. And not just apologize, but attempt to repair. So that's what we want. And there's a lot of room, there's a lot of room for repair that comes from an airing of the full totality of what happened and how it worked and everything we could learn. Because the key thing is to discover what happened so that this can't happen again, not only on this topic, but any topic. Because the real story here is the complete corruption of the system that allowed this to go down the way it did, right? That corruption is a threat. If COVID vanished tomorrow, that corruption doesn't get any safer.